Do you have a friend with benefits? How did it start? It all started back in college. We met on the very first day by standing in line for our schedules when suddenly she stepped on my foot and didn't even apologize. I tapped her shoulder and said, "You're too pretty to have to apologize." That caught her attention somehow. She smiled, said sorry, and invited me for a walk around the campus. After the walk, I walked her home and we said our goodbyes. I was about to leave when she suddenly opened her window and shouted, "I have a weird proposition for you. Come up." And then I heard the words every guy dreams of hearing from a girl. "Let's sleep together." No strings attached. I just started college and I want to focus on my studies. I don't need a relationship right now. I didn't say much in response. I just kissed her to show I agreed. For the record, we eventually became a real couple. But for the first 6 months, up until our first break, we kept up this friendship. And when we went home for the holidays, we both realized we were actually in love. So after graduation, I wasn't working anywhere for a while and couldn't afford a place of my own. So I asked my friend if I could crash at her place indefinitely, and she had no problem with it and even gave me my own empty room. One night, I brought a girl over and we had an amazing time. The next morning, my friend and I had a conversation. She told me she wasn't happy about what I did the night before. I apologized, but I didn't really get what her problem was. I mean, I couldn't stay single forever, right? Then she said, "I know I sound like a bitch, but I just don't have time for a relationship right now. And last night when I heard you two, I almost cried." That was the end of that conversation. But just a few days later, around midnight, she knocked on my door and said, "Let's stop pretending. I need a man and you need a woman. We can help each other without the relationship part." I couldn't believe what I was hearing, but of course I agreed right away. This went on for about 2 months until I found a decent job and moved into my own place. We're still good friends, we talk often, and our past never affected our friendship in any way. This actually happened to me twice, and with the same girl both times. We've known each other since high school. Our parents are close friends too. After college, we both moved back to our hometown, started living nearby, and kept hanging out at bars together. We would pour our hearts out to each other about terrible dates and how we just couldn't seem to click with anyone else the way we clicked. One night, after a few drinks, things got heated and we woke up in the same bed. After talking it over, we decided to keep things this way until one of us met the one. A year and a half passed. We weren't finding anyone, or to be honest, we weren't even looking. We slept at each other's places, spent our evenings together like best friends. To an outsider, we probably looked like a couple, but we didn't think of ourselves that way. Then, after a year and a half, I started wanting a family. So I told her we should put an end to our little arrangement, but I never did find someone who fit me as perfectly as she did. 2 or 3 months later, I went to her and asked if we could go back to what we had before. And she said yes! We dated for about a year and a half before breaking up. She thought I didn't make enough money, but at the same time, she always told me I was a god in bed. She found herself a sugar daddy, 30 years older than me, who provided for all her financial needs while I satisfied her physical ones. It all started unexpectedly. We ran into each other at a cafe. I asked how she was doing. She started complaining about her boring sex life. Jokingly, I said I could help with that. That same day, she showed up at my place. And for the next 2 years, she kept coming back until her husband passed away and she found herself a younger stud. My fiance dumped me right before our wedding. She told me she had cheated on me. I hated my life. I had no idea what to do next. My friend was always there supporting me. One day she started kissing me, saying I needed to move on and leave the past behind. Funny thing is, she had a boyfriend, a guy I actually knew, but that didn't stop us. And every time she came over after that, we weren't watching TV. I'm a player. I live to have fun and party, never thinking about consequences. My best friend is the complete opposite. She dreams of a family, but still lives a wild life. We're basically the life of every party in town. One day, she called me up and asked me to come over with a few bottles of wine because she was feeling down. I got there as fast as I could. We sat, we talked, and she told me she wanted stability but didn't want to date just anyone. I asked, "What do you mean by that?" She kissed me and said, "I'll show you." That was our first night together, and about a year later, I proposed. She said yes. I got used to her. I got used to being with just one person, and even though I had the freedom to sleep with other people, I didn't want anyone else. I think that's the danger of friends with benefits. Sooner or later, you either become a real couple, or you fight so badly that you can't even stay friends. I've been in this kind of relationship for 3 years now with my brother's best friend. We've known each other since childhood. Like we spent a lot of time at each other's houses growing up. You say after high school, I went to the same college as him. I had a boyfriend back then, but we broke up. Long distance just didn't work out. At college, I saw my brother's friend every day. He showed me around campus, took me to parties. One night we got drunk and ended up sleeping together. The next morning we felt guilty, but at the same time, we couldn't deny that we enjoyed it. So we made a deal. We'd keep things casual with no strings attached until he graduated. That meant 2 years of being friends, with benefits. But outside the bedroom, we were like a real couple. We went to concerts, traveled, partied together.